Rick Ross went on Patrick Bet David podcast, sat down in front of millions of people and said this about 50 Cent.
The history with you and 50, is it better now? You guys now friends? Like, do you guys talk now, or is it still no relationship?
Nah, homie Wash. We've never been cool.
From day one?
No.
He said 50 doesn't own his music, doesn't own the TV show Power, lives in a 2-bedroom apartment, isn't making real money.
Down on him because he live in a 2-bedroom apartment, but...
He lives in a 2-bedroom apartment?
2-bedroom. Catch the alley hoop now. You gotta win by Yama, this bitch.
2-bedroom apartment.
Yes, he does.
And he also made jokes about letting 50 Cent scrap on scuba gear and scrub the bottom of his yacht. Now keep in mind, this was a couple weeks ago. Now hear me out, quick question. If I told you the guy who said all of this has a $35 million mortgage, he's refinanced 3 times in 2 years, he owes bad taxes to the state of Georgia, and once legally admitted in his own court documents that he spends more every month than he earns. If you guess that the picture doesn't match the speech, congrats, you'll probably be right. And if I told you the man he was clowning took a water bottle deal in 2004 and walked away with somewhere between $60 and $100 million, then filed for bankruptcy, then came out on the other side owning the very show Ross said he doesn't own. If you guess 50 Cent might actually be winning this one on paper, you'll also be right. This isn't a rap beef video. This is a financial literacy video, because what Ross did on that podcast is one of the most common and most dangerous money mistakes people make. It just usually doesn't come with a yacht line. Let's get into it. Quick background on both, because this only makes sense if you understand what each man actually built. Ross is the real deal. Maybach Music Group, 30 Wingstop locations generating an estimated $7 million a year. A 322-acre Georgia estate he picked up for $5.8 million when world champion boxer Evander Holyfield lost it to foreclosure. The same estate Holyfield spent $30 million building. A Star Island waterfront mansion, a custom Gulfstream G550, black and gold. His name on the side in gold letters. $500,000 just for the paint job, and over 200 cars by his own account. Now, here's something I can't wrap my head around. He didn't get a driver's license until 2021. He was 45. He passed the test specifically so he could legally drive his own cars on public roads instead of his private estate. 200 cars, no license, for 20 years. My guy is committed to that rich forever image. 50 Cent grew up in Queens, got shot 9 times at 24, sold almost 1 million copies of Get Rich or Die Trying in 4 days, and then in 2004 did something almost nobody in hip-hop was thinking about. He took an equity stake in a sports drink instead of just an endorsement check. When Coca-Cola bought that company for $4.1 billion, 50 walked away with somewhere between $60 and $100 million. He did file bankruptcy in 2015, but came out on the other side with a production company. $103 million grossing tour, only the second rapper in history to clear $100 million on a single tour, and a TV franchise he specifically negotiated to own. Both men still make music, both of them still tour. Both of them also write books. On the surface, they look like parallel stories, but underneath, as we're about to see, they are completely different structures. On May 26th, on the PBD podcast, Ross says 50 doesn't own Power, doesn't own his masters, lives in a 2-bedroom apartment, isn't making real money, and then makes that yacht joke. Now here's what most people miss. 50 had made jokes about Ross months earlier on $1 million worth of game, and what he said wasn't just talk, it was specific.
You see that big white elephant? That property he lives at? It costs more than the nightclubs. He's in the nightclubs.
Yeah.
We know what they can give you. They kind of rich cut his own grass. Why you out there cutting your own grass? You're trying to save money, nigga? You don't want to pay for the lawn to get cut, huh?
And He said that in late 2024. Before Ross's public records came out, before the refinancing documents were reported, before tax execution, and then when we actually went and looked at the public filings, the big white elephant stopped sounding like trolling. It started sounding like a balance sheet. Start with Ross's biggest claim on PBD. He said 50 Cent doesn't own Power. Let's touch on that for a sec. 50 created Power, wrote it, executive produced it. When Stars first offered the deal, he took $17,000 an episode, way below his market rate, specifically so he could build leverage when the show took off. When Power became Stars' highest rated series ever, he used that leverage to negotiate ownership participation in the franchise through G-Unit Film and Television. When his Stars deal ended in September 2022, he posted a direct quote, 9/17/22, official day of really owning my content. Power has since expanded into 4 spinoffs, all produced through G-Unit, all generating ongoing revenue for 50 as owner, not just talent. And in January 2026, G-Unit finalized a $124 million entertainment development deal with the state of Louisiana.
Some good news now. Forget the king of New York. Rapper 50 Cent is working to become the king of Shreveport. The rapper and music mogul has invested millions of dollars to take over a big stretch of the city in hopes of making it the next big thing in the entertainment world.
The man Ross said doesn't own anything, owns more than almost anybody in hip-hop. The apartment claim now. 50 did sell his 52-room Connecticut mansion in 2019 and lived more modestly for a period. His current home, shown in a magazine in August 2024, has marble floors, a spa, sauna, cold plunge, and an indoor lap pool. Ross grabbed one real moment from 2020 and turned it into a permanent fact that stopped being true years ago. Now let's check Ross's own receipts. The Star Island Mansion. He bought it in August 2023 for $35 million. He actually negotiated the price down from the original $37.5 million asking. So he felt like he got a deal. But the same day he bought it, the same day, he took out a $20 million mortgage. So he financed more than half of it immediately. Then in July 2024, he borrowed another $4.3 million against it. Then in March 2026, he borrowed another $10.7 million. His mortgage on that single property is now $35 million, the same amount the house cost. The deal he negotiated is now fully mortgaged back to the original asking price. In May 2026, he gave Architectural Digest a full tour. 35 tons of marble, a koi pond, a gold-plated bar, sweeping Biscayne Bay views. Drake watched the same tour and immediately called it a Miami starter pack and a content creator crib. Whether Drake's right about the aesthetic or not, the mortgage documents are not a matter of opinion. Now, the Georgia mansion is genuinely the smarter play. Bought a $30 million estate for $5.8 million, turned it into a film set, an event venue, a car show that draws thousands of people. Coming to America paid $2.5 million to film there alone. Real asset monetization, but maintaining 54,000 square feet on 322 acres costs roughly $1 million a year just operationally. Man, and the electricity bill runs $17,000 a month. Real income, but real expenses. And the numbers have to stay in balance. The jet costs about $4,000 an hour to fly. At 400 hours a year, $1.6 million in operating costs alone, before storage and crew. So when someone filmed Ross boarding a Frontier flight 3 weeks ago and the internet started connecting dots, explanation that the jet is getting a $500,000 Starlink upgrade is completely plausible.
For the ones who want to know where my jet at, it's being updated with Starlink. That Starlink, yeah, boy, y'all gotta go up there.
But when you're already carrying a Star Island mortgage you refinanced 3 times, a Georgia estate that costs $1 million a year to run, and a jet that costs $2 million a year to fly, the Frontier ticket lands differently than just a maintenance stop, whether the explanation is true or not. Then there's the Georgia Department of Revenue filing a $65,000 state tax execution against him in late 2024. And the 2021 child support document obtained by TMZ that showed his monthly income at $585,000 while ordering $11,000 a month in child support. And the older 2009 filing that 50 Cent aired on the radio showing Ross admitting to spending $7,000 more a month than he earned and owning only $45,000 in jewelry. 50 has been throwing 2009 documents in his face for 15 years. And based on what we now know about the Star Island refinancing, the pattern didn't just change, it just got bigger. And then there's the detail that makes this whole video. Ross has been the face of Belaire champagne since 2013. 13 years. He's arguably the single most powerful reason the brand exists in hip-hop culture today. Belaire and Bamboo Rum, the two spirits brands he's most publicly associated with, are both owned by the same company, Seven Brands. Multiple sources describe Ross as having some form of equity participation in Belaire. But here's the thing, whatever he owns, whatever the terms are, whatever the percentage he holds, has never been publicly disclosed. No filing, no confirmed percentage, no statement from Seven Brands confirming the structure. For 13 years of being the face of one of the biggest champagne brands in hip-hop, the financial terms are a black box. Then Ross sat on PBD and accused 50 of building other people's brands instead of owning his own. 50 Cent took a vitamin water deal in 2004 and said no to the check. He wanted equity instead. When Coca-Cola bought the company, he walked away with somewhere between $60 and $100 million because he owned a piece of what he promoted. This is the exact move Ross has never made with either of the two spirit brands he spent over a decade building. Now, it's nobody's business whatever deal Ross has with Belaire after 13 years. Nobody outside the deal can tell you. That's the contrast. 50 Cent's ownership was transparent and paid out in 9 figures. Ross's arrangement with the brand he made famous is still a black box. When someone talks that loud about what someone else doesn't own, it's worth asking, how clearly can you see what they own themselves? Here's what's actually happening, and it shows up everywhere, not just in hip-hop. Ross may be trolling, but if he's not, he's confusing visible wealth with actual wealth, and then flew to Dallas and went on a national podcast to make that confusion someone else's problem. Visible wealth is the yacht, the estate, the 200-car fleet, the jet with his name on the side in gold letters, and the chains and jewelry. Actual wealth is what you own outright, what generates income without you showing up, what's still yours after you subtract the debt. 50 Cent's visible footprint is more modest. He doesn't have the 322-acre estate, doesn't have the yacht, but his actual ownership, power, genuine film, the vitamin water equity, the Louisiana development deal is structured clearly and publicly. The terms are documented, the payouts are on record. He's been building things he owns, and you can verify it. Ross has built businesses too. Wingstop, Maybach Music, the Georgia estate as a revenue engine. But the biggest brand he's been the face of for 13 years, the financial terms have never been publicly disclosed. And the man who sat on PBD and talked the loudest about what someone else doesn't own is the one whose most prominent brand arrangement nobody outside the deal can actually see into. The loudest voice in the room about who has more money turned out to be the one with a $35 million mortgage on a $35 million house. One last thing, by the time you see this video, Ross's new album has released. It's called Set in Stone. The man calling his 12th album Set in Stone has refinanced his Star Island mansion 3 times in 3 years and admitted in court documents to spending more than he earns in the past. That's not a knock on the music, but as a statement of financial permanence, the documents say otherwise. You don't need a yacht for a version of this to find you. The same as that dynamic when someone buys a house they can barely afford because it looks like success, while carrying a mortgage that leaves nothing for savings. The same dynamic when someone drives the newest car in the parking lot but has zero in their investment account. The same dynamic when someone's Instagram looks like they're winning while the bank account tells a completely different story. Having more followers than dollars get you nowhere. The gap between looking wealthy and actually building wealth is where most people get stuck. And the loudest in the room about who has more money are almost never the ones with the most money actually working for them. 50 said it in his own song. I took quarter water, sold it in bottles for $2. Coca-Cola came and bought it for billions. He wasn't just talking about vitamin water. He was describing a mindset. Finding something undervalued, get equity in it, let time do the work. That's how you build wealth that doesn't need a yacht to prove it exists. When someone's talking that loud about what someone else doesn't own, it's always worth asking, what do they own themselves? And how much of it do they actually own outright? Facts are facts. If you want more breakdowns like this, where we go look at the actual documents behind flexing and find out what's really going on underneath, this is what I do every week. Subscribe and tap in so you don't miss the next one. I'm out of here.